Knock, knock, knock. Knock, knock, trick or treat. Give me something sweet to eat. Cookies.
Chris, always great speaking with you, my friend. You've been in the police force for a long time. What are the rewards for you in being part of what you do, and going out there and helping so many people, and just being a great representation of that business?
Well, I don't think there's any greater opportunity than public service, and I've been fortunate to actually just be starting my 29th year of service with the Toronto Police this week. So it's been a pleasure of mine and an honor, and I hope to be able to keep doing it for as long as I can.
Well, you're one of the reasons why, my friend, I love calling you and speaking to you about what happens throughout the year. And as we speak, Halloween is coming up, and we got to make sure that families know what safety tips that are needed to be done to make sure that everybody has a safe Halloween. Right off the top, people should realize that when Halloween is happening, the police force, they're out in full droves, correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You'll see uniformed police officers and scout cars throughout the city of Toronto, making sure people are safe. We want to see kids having a good time, but we want to make sure that everybody gets home safely.
Well, one of the first things I always think about is when I was a kid growing up, when it came to trick-or-treating, the candy that I got, which, of course, I love the candy, but it's not something I was always told by parents. You don't immediately eat it. You make sure you get home, and parents need to check it first.
Yeah, 100%. Especially the younger kids, make sure you don't have any of your candy until your parents have a chance to look at it. And also another thing to keep in mind, once you have the candy at home, keep it away from any pets that you may have. We know that chocolate can be deadly to some of our household pets, so that's just another thing to keep in mind.
What about costumes? Again, when I was growing up, I got the ones from the store where you had the plastic mask that you can barely breathe and see through, and of course the plastic costume itself. These days it's much more elaborate, but can we see these kids in the dark? What do you think about reflecting costumes and things like that?
Well, yeah, absolutely. So, as far as masks go, unless it's a very well-fit mask, we suggest using makeup if the kids aren't allergic to it. A little bit safer as far as being able to see. And absolutely, reflective tape is always great as well. Another thing that I always remind kids about is, travel in groups. The younger you are, make sure you have your parents around. And also be very careful around crossing the streets as well. I know, kids might see a house that's decorated in a cool fashion and may be tempted to zigzag across the street in mid-block. We would highly recommend against that. Stop at the change sides of the street at the intersections, the stop sign, do the usual stop, look, listen, and look again, and proceed once it's safe to do so.
And that goes to the same thing with the drivers. Drivers need to be much more aware on Halloween night. Well,
absolutely. Very extra care, not only at Halloween night, but during the day, especially around schools as well, as far as the primary schools go. Oftentimes, we'll see kids on Halloween day. They're wearing costumes to school. They're excited. They're excited about going out at night and getting candy, and not that necessarily focused on traffic safety. So those are all things to keep in mind. Another thing I'd like to remind drivers, too, is that when they do get home, if it is still light out and, if there aren't any kids trick-or-treating, it's not a bad idea to back into your driveway. That way, if you do have to go back out again once the kids are out trick-or-treating and it's dark, it's a little bit safer pulling out forward than backing up and potentially not seeing a young child.
That is very important. What about when you're looking at houses that you think you should go to trick or treat? What do you think are the houses that you should be looking for? What are the signs that says, yes, this is a house, you come up and we've got candy for you?
Yeah, well, clearly, the well-lit homes, pumpkins on the porch. Those are all signs that would suggest that the homeowners are expecting trick-or-treaters. Also, would like to remind homeowners as well is that if there are expecting kids and, your house is inviting for kids to come and trick or treat, do your best to remove objects that kids may trip on as well. Rake up the wet leaves if you can, or any other things that excited kids may happen to stumble on when they're, excited about getting candy as opposed to paying attention to their surroundings.
Well, you did talk about kids being together in groups, which I think is very important. Adults hopefully will be there with them too. Kids sometimes can zigzag, but what about if they're doing all this, but they still get lost? What do you suggest?
Well, we hope that doesn't happen, but, if the kids do get lost, I would suggest going to another parent that they see with another group of kids, or just go up to another group of kids, maybe the child, if old enough to have a cell phone with them. Those are all things that can help. But, we really encourage kids and parents to, stay together and, do your best not to separate.
Any other suggestions, sir, of what we can make sure we got a safe and happy Halloween?
Well, we just want to see people to have a good time. And, if you're in the city of Toronto and you need the police and it's an emergency, you give us a call at 911. The non-emergency is 416-808-2222. And, we just want to wish everybody a very happy and safe, fun Halloween.
Thank you so much, my friend, and happy Halloween to you too.
Likewise, pal.
Lemons, limes, plums, and peaches, yum, yum,